Rinconada Bikol or simply Rinconada, spoken in the province of Camarines Sur, Philippines, is one of several languages that compose the inland Bicol, or southern Bicol, group of the Bicol macrolanguage. It belongs to the Austronesian language family that also includes most Philippine languages, the Formosan languages of Taiwanese Aborigines, Malay, Bahasa Indonesia and Bahasa Malaysia, the Polynesian languages and Malagasy. Rinconada is surrounded and shared common features with other Bicol languages. It is bordered by coastal Bicol to the north, Buanan to the east, and West Mirea language immediately to the south. The closest relatives to this language outside the Bicol region are Aklanon, Waray-Waray, and to a lesser extent, Tagalog, especially the variants used in Batangas and Marinduque. Rinconada Bikol is the language adopted by the indigenous population of Agta, Aeta, the Negrito, in the surrounding mountainous areas of Mount Ariga, old name is Mount Asog. The Austronesian people that have migrated to the foot of Mount Asog from the lowland Nabua introduced the language to Negritos when they began conducting trade and commerce, thus replacing the native language of the latter. The original language of Negritos is Inagta, also known to linguists as Mount Ariga Agta, an extinct or nearly extinct language. Inagta is said to have 86% intelligibility with Rinconada Bikol but with lexical similarity of 76%. Most Negritos are commonly called as Agta or Aeta, odd for camaraderie, today are fluent in Rinconada Bikol though with a different variation. Name. The name, Rinconada, is derived from the Rinconada district in Camarines Sur where the language originated, developed and is largely spoken. However, the precise origins of how the term, Rinconada, was assigned to the area are still unclear. Popular wisdom ascribes the name to have come from the Spanish arrinconada, cornered, from the root rincon that means, corner or small district. Rinconada might have been given by the Spaniards to the then newly explored and established colony in the southeastern corner of Luzon Island. Natives formerly called the area Sumagong, Sumaga, meaning far east. Adding credence to the theory of a Spanish origin are the localities of La Rinconada in Spain and La Rinconada in Chile, which was also a former Spanish colony. Dialects. The language is divided into two main dialects and subdivided into 6 variants. Sinabukid, Highland dialect. Strong accent, flat intonation only, and with Agta variant, Ariga variant, de facto standard. Sinaran, lowland dialect. Soft accent with different types of intonation, and without. Nabua Balaton variant. Baao variant. Bula Pili variant. Bato variant. Dialectal variation. Features and geographic distribution. The Nabua Balaton variant features high-pitch intonation. Though it is the direct descendant of Rinconada Bikol but it lost some features of the original spoken language. The speakers can be found in the entire municipalities of Nabua and Balaton. Ariga variant on the other hand has the most speakers. The speakers are concentrated in the district center, Ariga City, in some of the important barangays of Buhi, West and East Sta. Justina and de Los Angeles, and the urban barangay of Matacan located in Palangui, Albay. The Ariga variant has a flat intonation and is spoken rapidly. The Bato variant, on the other hand, has a distinctive mellow intonation. It is said that regardless of one's mood, the Bato speaker always sounds sleepy, as if they are chanting. The Bato variant is primarily being spoken in Bato, Camarines Sur and also spoken in Agos, Palangui, Albay. The Agta variant is the smallest in the group. The speakers are exclusively the indigenous population of Agta, Aeta, the aboriginal people of different tribes surrounding Mount Ariga and Buhi Lake. Like Ariga, the AGTA variant also has a flat intonation, but they speak the language with distinct form of pronunciation which can be traced from the group's extinct language. The variants of Baao and Bula Pili are considered twins. They have the same accent and only slight differences in vocabulary. Of the two variants, Baao often uses rising intonation, while Bula Pili is moderately flat, but both are using high pitch when reasoning. The latter variant is used entirely in Bula and in the southern half of the provincial capital town of Pili. It also has significant speakers in Ocampo, Cam. Sur and Minalabak, Cam. Sur. These two variants have borrowed some vocabularies of coastal Bicol, but at the same time, Bicol Partido, a dialect of coastal Bicol, can be heard with borrowed vocabularies from these two variants. List of phrases and expressions that are unique to each variant. Baao variant. Gayorag na. Nabua Balatan variant. Labina Khan. AGTA variant. Maya Naad. Bato variant. I Tara. Bula Pili variant. Payorag. Ariga variant. Labina Man Na. Short imperatives. Like other Visayan and Bicol languages, Rinconada Bikol has a short form for the imperative. E.g. the phrase, Ayon mo, grill it, is often shortened to Iwa, and the command phrase, Punasan mo asalmi, wipe the mirror, can be shortened to Punasa asalmi. A special form is used when talking to elderly people in a polite manner. Instead of putting the letters a after the root word of the verb, it has to be replaced by the letters e if the statement will be politely delivered. The letter e or e stands for tabi, which means please in English, or po in Tagalog. Example 1. I is a root word that means grill. Ayon means grill it. Ayon mo roughly means you grill it. Iwa is the shortcut of the command Ayon mo. Iway is the shortened polite form for Ayon mo tabi, grill it please. Example 2. Punas is a root word that means wipe. Punasan means wipe it. Punasan mo roughly means you wipe it. Punasa is the shortcut of the command Punasan mo. Punes is the shortened polite form for Punasan mo tabi, wipe it please. Example 3. Emo is a root word that means prepare. Imun means prepare it. Imun mo means you prepare it. Imoa is the shortcut of the command Imun mo. Amoy is the shortened polite form for Imun mo tabi, please prepare it. Pronouns. Lexicon. Sentences. What is your name? Onoa Aaron Mo? My name is Joseph. Usa Aaron Co. Use is a Rinconadized name of Spanish Jose. Where do you come from? Tagasari Ika, I. M from Pili, Camarines Sur, Taga Pili, Camarines Sur Ako. I love you so much. Payaba ta Ika sa igo, Payaba ko Ika sa igo, do you like me? Beat Mo. Ko, what are you doing? Ono a jinijibo mo? I will go home. Migpali na. Ko, John is my brother Odd Ko Cuwan. Uwan is a Rinconadized name of Spanish Juan. Do you want to eat breakfast? Beat mo na. Mama, I am already eating, nagkakan na. Ko, what time is it? May I know what time is it? Ono oras na tabi, I will go out, migluwas ako, I can. Sleep. Diri ako makatorog, are you afraid of the dark? Nakatatakit ika sa made it, he said he will pick me up. Sabi niya sasukatan kono. Ko, how old are you? Gamno na ika, naka, kagura, when will you be back? Kunu ika migbalik? Family titles, ama fatherina motherite, dadane, mamanoy, older brothermane, older sister tata, unklenana, auntie. Basic question words, ono wadaze, hokunu, wenata waisari werpauno, howari whichpura how many mamira how much gamno, indefinite question, used to describe the degree or extent to which something is covered such as period or age, vastness or immensity and etc. Greetings. General greetings. Maray na aldo, good day, from sunrise to sunset. Maray na gab I good evening, from sunset to sunrise. The said greetings can be shortened to aldo and gab I, as they are like the two-syllable words bonjour and bonsoir of the French language. Specific greetings. Maray na ramrag, good morning, from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Maray na mudtu, good noon, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Maray na apan, good afternoon, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Maray na gab I, good evening, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Maray na lot, good midnight, from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Maray na mararamran, good dawn, from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. People of Rinconada classify dim or dark hours as nighttime and light hours as daytime. As such, even with the introduction of modern standard time, they consider the hours of 12 midnight until 6 o'clock in the morning as nighttime. Therefore, the general greeting from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is Maray na aldo and Maray na gab I. For the hours that start from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. e.g. Maray na mudtu tabi kaninyo amen. Occasional greetings. Mam ya pagkamandag, happy birthday. Mam ya bago taon, happy new year. Mam ya aniversario, happy anniversary. Uniqueness and distinction. Rinconada Bikol vocabulary is rich in words with short or unstressed letter I sound. In fact, most root words with letter I are unstressed. However, not all words with I should be read and pronounced as such, since there are several words that have stressed I, especially loanwords, e.g. silly, chili. Native words, root word, with stressed I are very rare. The language retains the Proto-Philippine schwa vowel, that have disappeared in most Philippine languages like Cebuano, Tagalog and even the neighboring coastal Bicol language. In Nabua, Camarines Sur, where the language is believed to be originated, the vowel also disappeared through the normal development and evolution. However, it was preserved by those who moved and migrated to the highland part of Rinconada around Mount Ariga, formerly Mount Asog, due to severe flooding on lowland, particularly in Nabua and Beulah. Thus preserving the vowel and has survived until this day in Sinabucad dialect. People who are new to the highland accent may find the Sinabucad dialect sounds like Ilocano, Pangasinense, or Korea of Antique Province. The vowel can also be heard from the population in towns and cities speaking the Albay Bicol group of languages. The native word for this vowel in Rinconada is GP. And this has divided the language into two dialects, Sinabucad or Highland, with p, and Sinaran or Lowland, without. Aside from the vowel, the other interesting thing in Rinconada language is the occurrence of an extra consonant phoneme. This consonant bears the sound of mixed letters H, Y and W. The neighboring language of Buanon also uses this sound, a clear evidence of close ties between the two languages. Unfortunately, this phoneme neither has a corresponding letter in Philippine alphabet nor an equivalent character on Philippine Standard Keyboard. Thus, Rinconada Bikol speakers have no option but to use H as an alternative letter. However, in the spoken Sinaran dialect, the consonant T and the vowel P are often replaced by the letters W and O, respectively. Examples of letter 1. Mima, will eat breakfast. Mudtu na, mima pa sana ikat. 2. Ba, cold cooked rice. Non yu na man na kan na adi, malakaba. 3. Tap, a process of separating rice from its outside layer after milling. To hip. In Filipino, Tagalog. A pagtap, sad na gibo diri de pat panagad dalagan. 4. Don, plant leaf. Kadakal ka don ka tanam ni tata isko. 5. Taub, cover, protect, or conceal. Pakarain mo a pagkataab ka boban tamauka I kasitan. The special consonant phoneme, th, can easily be distinguished from the sound of letters H, W and Y. If it is placed before the vowel phoneme, it can be compared to the letter J of the Spanish word Dios mamajas. Pronunciation of letters E and. The letter E in Rinconada is not the typical pronunciation of the vowel E, in other languages, such as the word bag and bell in English language, or the word metingan Kapampangan that means 1, which sounds, in IPA, open or low mid-front unrounded vowel. The letter E in Rinconada is pronounced similar to the letter sequence E in English, or the letter I of most languages, but mouth is more open and tongue is a bit relaxed. In IPA it is E, a close or high mid-front unrounded vowel. So its pronunciation lies in between leads I sound and leads. The difference between the letters E and is that the latter pronounced longer or prolonged. Example, mutate, IPA, mutate, chide, scold. Rules for letter J. Unlike other letters in Rinconada native alphabet, letter J is always accompanied by letter D if it is in the middle of a word. Otherwise, single J is to be placed. Moreover, it's the only non-gliding consonant that cannot be found at the end of a word in any native Rinconada vocabulary. Some words in native Rinconada and Rinconadized words of foreign origin with letter J. Diamante, diamond, from Spanish diamante. Jade, again, always, diario, newspaper, from Spanish diario. Jolan, marble, toy. Fastidio, nuisance, from Spanish fastidio. Ij, a large and venomous snake. Udjan *, no counterpart in English and Filipino, nearest meaning jealous or envious. Suja, prompted, investigated, an action for questioning. Kajapa, a thorny plant abundant in Bicol region. Culitis. In Tagalog, scientific name, Amaranthus spinosus. Pajak, a bicycle converted into tricycle powered by a human force, mode of transportation known in Metro Manila as culiglig. Saja, a sharp piece of wood, metal or bamboo that gets in and stuck to the flesh accidentally. Lokajo, a word used to address a disliked person being discussed in a conversation. It is a word included in Bicol Angry Speech Register. Paji, prayer. The consonant H. Through language evolution, Rinconada Bikol almost lost the phoneme H, hence, rare. It is often absent in most Rinconada words that are usually present in other Philippine languages. There is no real H sound in Rinconada. It is either silent or glided that sounds like a long tonal vowel, or vowel lengthening. The H sound is silent if positioned at the beginning of a word, and glided if it is in between vowels. The Tagalog words such as hangin, higop and hangin are almost the same with Rinconada words, but letter H is eliminated since it is not pronounced. The corresponding equivalent is ain, igop and agin. Same with other Bicol words like harani, haraya, and habo, which are arani, areo, and ab in Rinconada. While the glided H can be found in between two same letters like in Baja, Saha, Kahal, and Mohan. The disappearance of phoneme H is an occurrence comparable, but not the same degree, to that of Kapampangan language. Nevertheless, Rinconada Bikol speakers can pronounce it with clarity and emphasis whenever they are speaking other languages where it is present. Vocabulary. For centuries under Spanish rules, Rinconada has adopted many words from Spanish language. There is a considerable number of Latin loans, sometimes obscured by being subject to Rinconada phonology and grammar for centuries, for example, estar, address or dwelling place, from estar that means stay, soltero, single, but only applicable to male, from soltero, yuban, young, from joven, ilyabi, ki, from llave. Older generations tend to use Spanish loanwords more often, but younger generations tend to use Tagalog words and Rinconadized words from English language, especially the modern terminologies with no counterpart in native Rinconada Bicol vocabulary. Example: Bawas-bawasan mo man ani a pagkati mo lalo na kin arani na exam, limit your habit of escaping class sessions especially when examination is approaching near. The Tagalog word, bawas-bawasan, is ina anon in Rinconada, and the word, lalo, is used in favor of the native word, orog. The word, kati, and exam are Rinconadized words of the English, cutting classes or leaving the room during school hours with no permission, and examination, respectively. Standard Rinconada Bicol. There is no official or de jure standard dialect of this language, though the Iriga dialect is used as the de facto standard for the following reasons. 1. It retains the Proto-Austronesian schwa vowel t, that helps eliminate homographs, words that are spelled the same way but have different pronunciations and meanings. 2. The consonant phoneme is evident and pronounced more clearly. 3. It has a neutralized and flat intonation which serves to moderate between variants. 4. It has no continuum accent or fusion of variants in between boundaries. One example of continuum accent can be heard in barangays bordering Beulah and Nabua, which the speakers have mixed accents of Beulah-Pili variant and Nabua-Balaton variant. Same thing can be heard in the boundaries of Baao and Nabua. 5. Iriga City is the center of learning, trade and commerce in Rinconada. 6. It has fewer loan words and is less influenced by neighboring languages than any other variant except Agta. 7. It has been used for decades to represent Rinconada as a whole at the local and national level. 8. It has the most number of speakers inside and outside the Rinconada area. 9. There's no or little variation in accent among speakers. Whether a person resides in the northeasternmost part of Iriga bordering Bicol Partido speakers or in the southernmost part of Matacan, Palangui bordering West Mireya speakers or in East Sta. Justina, Buhi bordering Buanon speakers, all use the same accent with centralized intonation. Even with the usage of Iriga variant, Highland dialect, as the Rinconada standard, both in spelling and pronunciation, all other variants remain official in their respective municipalities. The standard spelling must be observed in all written forms but can be pronounced differently depending on the accent of the speakers, e.g. Laud. Midnight can be pronounced as Lawad, Laud or Lawad by speakers but must be written officially as Laud across variants. The language is commonly called as Rinconada but officially called as Rinconada Bikol, de jure, and not Ariga Bikol, Irigenyo, Baoenyo or Bikol Nabua. Angry speech register. The Angry register is unique to Bicol languages as it cannot be found in other Austronesian languages inside and outside the Philippines. It is generally used only among same-age speakers or by older speakers to younger listeners, as usage by younger speakers in addressing their elders would constitute great disrespect. On occasion, the Angry register is used in sarcasm or humor, but the majority of its usage is in anger. Rinconada Bikol has contributed much to this unique feature of spoken languages of Bicolanos. Examples: Sainagan. Sainagan is a group of selected words for babies and newly born. It is being used by parents to communicate with their babies easily and to train them how to talk, hence, an introductory language. It is often described as language for babies and commonly called as baby talk. Words are limited to 2 syllables and features basic command. Several letters are absent such as R, G, S, J, and H. Sainagan literally means talking or acting like a baby. Phonology. Diphthong, say. Rinconada Bikol has several diphthongs or gliding vowel. Diacritics, kulit. Rinconada uses a variation of Latin alphabet modeled on the Tagalog alphabet. But unlike the modern Tagalog Filipino, Rinconada retains and uses diacritics kulit in Rinconada Bikol, and kudlit in Tagalog. This is to highlight the meaning of the words and to differentiate words with different meanings but the same spelling. In return, the diacritics provide Rinconada Bikol with a unique orthography among Philippine languages. Diacritics for this language are limited to the macron and circumflex, which is unlike other languages, for example Vietnamese that has several. However, due to technical difficulties and a scarcity of resources, diacritics are sometimes not available. Thus, 2 Rinconada alphabets were created to meet the needs of the speakers, the native and the simplified. Both can be used at the same time depending on the situation, purpose and availability of resources. Glottal stop, erg-sad. The Rinconada name for the letter which represents the glottal stop is erg-sad. This can only be found in the native form of alphabet, and it is limited to final vowels or vowels at the end of a word. Erg-sad is represented by the circumflex. For examples of the glottal stop, consider the Rinconada words salat wrong and turo, drop of water, fluid, often simply sala and turo in the simplified alphabet and in Filipino and English orthographies. With erg-sad and kulit, the translation of the phrase I love you in Rinconada is ayaba ko ika. Love me you. In word-for-word translation. Alphabet. Rinconada Bikol was historically written in a form of a bujita writing system called Baybayin in Tagalog and Kulitan in Rinconada. Native. The Rinconada native alphabet has 6 short vowels, 6 long vowels, and 17 consonants, a total of 29 letters representing all phonemes in Rinconada Bikol. A long or stressed vowel is written with a macron, a diacritic placed above a vowel. It also includes the velar nasal special character t that represents ing. Native alphabet contains phonemes that are native to Rinconada, thus considering it as the standard Rinconada Bikol alphabet. Example of a Filipino proverb written in the Rinconada native alphabet. Adiri tato maglili sa panagalinan, diri makabat sa pigayanan. Tagalog, ang hindi marunong lumingon sa pananggalingan ay hindi makararating sa pararunan. Exceptions to the rules of native alphabet are formal names like Juan de la Cruz and place names such as Laguna, Cebu and Manila. Those names must retain their official and simplified spelling instead of their native spellings Juan de la Cruz, Laguna, Ceiba and Manila. With the exception of names and places, all words in the native alphabet must be written with their respective spellings with their designated diacritics. Simplified. The Rinconada simplified alphabet is just the same as the Philippine alphabet. It has 28 letters. The letters F, B and Z are included because they are native to other Philippine languages like Itawi and Ibanag. Letters C, Nu, and Q are also included, but their usages are limited to foreign names, Philippinized words of foreign origins or loans, especially from Spanish, English and Arabic. The simplified alphabet DOESN. T use diacritics like the macron for stressed and long vowels, the circumflex for glottal stop, or the letters for velar nasal, schwa, or velar fricative, as they don. T appear on a standard QWERTY keyboard. The velar nasal is replaced by the digraph ing, and the two latter sounds can be replaced by O and H, W, and Y respectively. But even with the absence of diacritics in the modern and simplified alphabet, pronunciations in the spoken language are not altered. Moreover, the long vowel sound in a word should not be omitted. One good example of this is be kind and beat, want, like. The word be in the native alphabet is written as beat in the simplified alphabet, making the two words the same in spelling albeit with different meanings. In this case, the pronunciation of the words depends on their place and usage in a sentence. To avoid confusion and aid in ease of reading, it is strongly recommended to use the native alphabet in writing Rinconada Bikol. Numerals. Numbers and words in native alphabet are as follow. There are no written records to indicate that Rinconada has native words for two-digit numbers 11 to 99. On the other hand, there is also no proof that the language has no indigenous words for those numbers. It is intriguing that Rinconada has native words for three-digit numbers, e.g. sangados, for 100, but not for two-digit numbers. Utilization and adaptation of foreign words via 333 years of Spanish colonization could be a reason why the native terminologies may not have been passed to the new generations. But a long-established language needs a complete numbering system in words. Therefore, the reconstruction of words for 11 to 99 is necessary but needs to follow and retain the indigenous or original structural form of Rinconada's orthography. Structure. The number words of 1 to 10 and 100 are all native Rinconada, while numbers 11 to 99 are all reconstructed. However, the reconstructed numbers are based on the original structure. Sampolo, number 10, or sampu in Filipino is the only two-digit number that has a native word with a perfect indigenous structural form. The evolution of the word sampolo from sadnapolo follows the orthography of Rinconada and developed naturally over the years. Being said, it is imperative that all reconstructed numbers must follow the same format of number 10. The word sampolo is derived from a portmanteau of the words sad plus na plus polo, sadnapolo, which is the base tenth of 1. In the evolution of this number, the schwa letter of sadnapol o circumflex became silent and so the word became sadnapolo. Same with other Philippine languages, na is converted into p, replaces the last consonant letter of the first word, which is d, and become the connector to the second word, which is polo. Thus the letter d is omitted and the word became saw. The connector t becomes per meter, naturally if the next letter is p or b, which is also the case in other Philippine languages. So then, the word became sampolo. Structure of sampolo 10. 1. Sad plus na plus polo equals sadnapolo. 2. Sadnapolo equals sadnapolo. 3. Sadnapolo d equals sanapolo. 4. Na replaced by t equals sapolo. 5. Replaced by per meter, before p equals sampolo. From sampolo, all two-digit numbers were given a name that was copied from it. The number 40 pampolo, and 60 nimpolo, follow the same exact format of sampolo. The exception to the naming system of numbers is the number 0, 0. Though 0, is single digit, there is no native word for it. Since sampolo 10 is a combination of 1 and 0, the word polo was taken out from it to represent 0, rather than using 0 or 0. As a result, Rinconada has a complete basic set of numbers without using foreign words. The number referenced in PHP 356,817,142,590 can be translated into Rinconada Bikol as Tolagatos limamnam na billion, walagatos sampito million, sagatos pamdarwa rebo ag limagatos yumpolo piso. In English language it is 356,817,142,590 pesos. In Filipino language it is Tatlong don lamapa at anam na billion, walong don at labing pitong million, sandon at apatnapuat dalawang libo at liming ron siamnapung piso. Rinconada numbers in words are very simple in structure. Translations are shorter than both Filipino and English languages. Comparison chart. Intelligibility. Although properly considered separate languages, speakers of Rinconada Bikol or Rinconada can communicate with Albay Bikol speakers with ease and without code switching. A student from Ligao City, West Mireya speaker, studying in a university in Ariga City can understand Rinconada, any variant, and can be understood by Rinconada speakers as well. The same thing will happen if a local tourist from Rinconada visits the Cagsawa ruins in Albay or visits Donsol, Sorsogon, East Mireya speaker, for the annual whale shark sightings. The difference between Rinconada and Albay Bikol, both are included in Inland Bikol group, is comparable to German and Yiddish or Portuguese and Galician, while the differences between variants are comparable to those between English US, English British and English Australian. The mutual intelligibility of Rinconada and Albay Bikol is 80% to 85%, while intelligibility between variants is 95% to 98%. Status. Rinconada Bikol is a minority language in the Bicol region despite having hundreds of thousands of speakers. It is currently not used in commercial media, print, radio, television, despite the fact that there are numerous prominent Rinconada speakers in the music and entertainment industry, media, and Philippine politics. It is not among the recognized regional languages in the Philippines and remains unknown to many Filipinos as it is poorly documented, researched and promoted. Currently, the major obstacle to the diffusion of the usage and teaching of Rinconada is the lack of written material in Rinconada Bikol language, namely books, newspapers, software, magazines, etc. Thus, Rinconada, along with other inland Bikol languages and the minor indigenous languages of Bicol region, remains essentially a spoken language. Due to everyday exposure of younger generations to Filipino, Tagalog and English languages in mass media and social networking sites, native words that are rarely used are now disappearing and being replaced by their counterparts from other languages. If cannot be salvaged by any means, this trend is more likely to continue and might endanger the language in the near future. Publication. The only dictionary written for this language is Rinconada, Bikol Filipino-English Phrasebook, with Mini Dictionary 2001 of Jason Lobel and Grace Bucad of Nabua, Camarines Sur. Several books were successfully created and published by native speakers and non-speakers alike. Some were published by Frank Peñones, Jason Chancoco, Rizaldi Manrique, John Urcaniba and Christian Cordero of Ariga City. In 2004, the Rigang Rinaranga, Mga Rawatdawat, which was published by Frank Peñones, is the first anthology written in Rinconada Bikol. On June 25, 2013, the Camarines Sur Polytechnic Colleges CSPC, a state college in Nabua, Camarines Sur, established the Center for Rinconada Studies that will serve as the research center for Rinconada Bikol language and heritage. Modern culture in Bicol region, the language and its speakers earned the moniker, Pa Sati Pa San, Pa Sini Pa Sitan, that literally means, we'll go here we'll go there, we'll go here we'll go there, two different Rinconada words with the same meaning, which is a form of humor if said repeatedly. The moniker is the result of the prominence of Rinconada speakers in the region. This is due to the fact that a native speaker traveling in the region can easily be distinguished and identified because his language is different from the vast majority of Bicolanos, and to the fact that several prominent Bicolanos in the Philippines are of Rinconada heritage, gives the language and the speakers a familiarity to others. That makes one throwing a humorous line, the moniker, to a person telling him that he is a Rinconada speaker. Notable speakers: Bao variant Joker Arroyo, Philippine Senator, Jorge Barlon, the first Filipino Catholic bishop, Beatriz B. Sa, Pinoy Big Brother Season 2 winner, Luis G. Dato, Bicolano poet and writer, Paulo Briones, longest term of mayorship in the Philippines, Manuel Gate, Securities and Exchange Commission Commissioner, former Deputy Executive Secretary Presidential Management Staff, Bato variant Venus Raj, Miss Universe 2010 fourth runner-up, actress and model, Beulah Pili variant Chiricho Rosales, Filipino actor, model and band vocalist, Nabua Balaton variant Sofia Moran, real name is Sofia Balan, Filipina actress and model, Ariga variant Nora Honor, real name is Nora Cabaltera Villamayor, multi-awarded international Filipina actress, singer, producer, recording artist, and product endorser, Mila Ocampo, real name is Milagros Sumeo, Filipina actress, mother of Snooki Serna, first Miss Philippines Press Photography 1959, Lou Bonavi, real name is Maria Lourdes Rosario Perello Bonavi, Filipina pop-rock musician, Victor Wood, singer, musician and composer, Jamie Fabregas, Filipino veteran actor and musical scorer, Gilda Gales, Filipina actress, Ronald Remy, real name is Ronald Kukorichkin, Filipino actor and producer of the 1960s. Son of Russian émigré Arames Kukorichkin and Conchita Segovia, Eddie Villamayor, brother of Nora Honor, Filipino actor and producer, Rez Cortez, Filipino actor, Zaldi Zornik, real name is Jose Rizaldi Z. Shornik, Filipino actor of Polish descent, Eddie Illard, former assemblyman, senator and congressman of the Philippines, Emilia Bangkadan, former secretary of the Philippine Department of Budget and Management. One of the 10 outstanding women in nation's service towns, Leila de Lima, Philippine Senator, Lilia de Lima, Director General, Philippine Economic Zone Authority, PEZA, Undersecretary, Department of Trade and Industry, DTI. One of the 10 outstanding women in the nation's service towns, Jonathan Malaya, Assistant Secretary for Special Projects of the Department of Education, Efren Orbon, Major General, the former Commanding General of the 2nd Infantry Division, Philippine Army, Raul Negrampa, Philippine NPO Deputy Director, Juan K. Taduran, Filipino gold medalist in decathlon in the then Far East Championship, 1921, 1923 and 1925, Genaro Saavedra, Filipino gold medalist in 100 yards, high jump, pole vault and decathlon in the Far East Championships, 1915, Chomli Go, Taekwondo Jin, Olympian, Taekwondo World Cup Championship silver medalist, 2005 SEA Games gold medalist, Ruben Siran, Director General of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, CAAP, Makina Lanis, Community Liaison and Special Assistant for Military and Veteran Affairs in California, USA. Outstanding Filipinos Abroad awardees, Dominic Almeller, ABS-CBN reporter, Diane Nisio, from Palangui, Albay, Top 15 Miss International 2011, Angeline Tuccio, first runner-up Mutya ng Pilipinas 2003, distribution Rinconada is spoken by majority in Beulah, Baao, Nabua, Balaton, Ariga and Bato in Camarines Sur, politically the 5th district of Camarines Sur province except the municipality of Buhi, where the majority speaks Buanon. The language is dominant and the lingua franca in the southern half of the provincial capital town of Pili, the west barangays of Ocampo, and the far west barangays of Buhi. It can also be heard in neighboring places such as the northern barangays of Palangui and Libon in Albay. Figure, based from the population of towns and city with a concentration of Rinconada Bikol speakers, the total number is 479,208 or almost 500,000. This number is based from the population of the 5th district of Camarines Sur, Rinconada, and neighboring towns of Palangui and Pili, in which Rinconada Bikol is their de facto daily language. Moreover, the total number does not include speakers outside Rinconada area. Some linguists place the native speaker population at 600,000 estimate because there are many speakers of this language outside the region who left in search for better job opportunities. Example of this are the Filipinos enlisted in U.S. Navy that comes from Nabua, Camarines Sur, which comprise the 10% of all Filipino U.S. servicemen. Most of these Rinconada speakers are now residing mostly in San Diego, California. References